What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. Today I want to be going over some of the most important things that you need to be aware of if you are trying to lose some body fat. So many people get this stuff wrong time and time again, so I want to make this as clear as I possibly can for you guys to understand. So in no particular order, let's do this. So the first thing is, when it comes to training in the gym, you have to still be training as heavy as you possibly can. I think a lot of people get this idea that when they want to lose body fat, they just drastically reduce the weight that they're moving in the gym and instead just do a shit ton of reps and sets because they have this toning mentality. In my opinion, this is probably the worst thing that you can do because you are now giving your muscles absolutely no reason to stay. You're not lifting nearly as much weight as you were before. So why do you now need that extra muscle? The next thing that you should know is that your choice of diet does not matter at all. So whether you are vegetarian, vegan, paleo, Atkins, keto, whatever you are, it does not matter. The only thing that does matter when it comes to fat loss is being in a calorie deficit. So calories in versus calories out. You will not lose weight on any of those diets if you are not in a calorie deficit. The only reason that keto works, for example, isn't because you're cutting out carbs. It's because the elimination of those carbs will drastically reduce your calories. So at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is being in a calorie deficit when it comes to fat loss. The next thing you should know is, when it comes to fat loss, I would recommend first dropping your calories. Once you've plateaued on there, then I would start incorporating cardio. A lot of people make the mistake of drastically reducing their calories and doing like half an hour to an hour of cardio every single day. Yes, you will lose weight initially for the first couple of weeks, but once you plateau, it's gonna be extremely hard to create a further deficit because you're already doing so much on both the nutrition side and the cardio side. Next is, being in a slight calorie deficit over a prolonged period of time will do wonders in preserving muscle mass during your cut. Obviously, the faster you lose weight, the more of that weight is going to be muscle mass, and obviously you want to be burning as much fat as you possibly can from the weight you're losing. So it is much better to do a slight calorie deficit over a long period of time versus a short and aggressive cut. It'll also be much more enjoyable to do it that way. The next thing is, you should be prioritizing big compound movements such as your squat, bench press, rows, pull-ups, stuff like that, over your isolation movements, stuff like bicep curl, tricep extensions, because those compound movements are gonna burn significantly more calories than any isolation movements. So always start with your big compound movements and then finish off the workout once you're already fatigued with isolation work. Now, when it comes to your nutrition, I would highly recommend trying to eat most of your diet from foods that are in their natural states. The reason being is because the more ingredients and chemicals a food has, for example, like a protein bar, the more inflammation it's gonna cause within your body because your body has no idea what the hell you're giving it. So obviously, the more inflammation you have, the slower your rate of progress with fat loss will be. Now, when it comes to cheat days, I would highly recommend utilizing a refeed day and not a cheat day, because what's the point of dieting all week and losing all this body fat just so you put it back on the weekend because you're eating like absolute shit? So I would instead recommend using a refeed day, because this is a much more structured approach. This will help you raise your leptin levels, which is the hormone that drops over the course of your cut because you're giving your body less calories. So refeed days are much more structured, and it'll actually help you with your progress when it comes to burning fat. The next thing when it comes to your diet is cutting out as much of the sugar as you possibly can. The reason for this, you might not even be aware of it, but when you consume sugar, even when you're full or satisfied, you tend to want to have more afterwards because it's such an addictive chemical and it just overloads your senses. So it's best just to cut out the sugar, and you'll find you'll have way less binges and cravings throughout the diet. Maybe the most important thing you should be aware of out of them all in this video is prioritizing your sleep. Sleep is massively underrated, and it'll affect your performance in the gym as well as your rate of fat loss. The less sleep you get, the more stressed you are. The more stressed you are, the more cortisol you have. The more cortisol you have, the more water you're gonna be retaining. Now, if you are in the latter stages of your cuts and you find yourself hungry all the time, there are some things that you can do to help curb your hunger. One, just drinking a lot of water. You tend to consume less calories when you are fully hydrated. Two, drinking coffee. Any caffeine is an appetite suppressant. Three, stuff like sparkling water really helps to curb hunger. And then another one could be brushing your teeth or using mouthwash, because the last thing I want to do after I brush my teeth is consume more food. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, make sure to leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.